Today, another verse that I looked at in Habakkuk is Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 5. Look at the nations and observe, be utterly astounded, for something is taking place in your days that you will not believe when you hear about it. Before this, in the first couple verses of this chapter, Habakkuk's looking around, the world, looking around Jerusalem, Israel, and saying, look at all the violence. Look at all that's going on. You don't save. He's saying you're not doing anything about the injustice, the wrongdoings. You're tolerating all of this. There's oppression and violence. Habakkuk's seeing all this stuff going on, and it seems like the people that are doing all this evil and everything are getting away with it. And this is how God answers Habakkuk. First of all, Habakkuk is not sinning or doing anything wrong to question God like this. Habakkuk is sharing his heart. He loves his nation. And he loves people, and he doesn't like seeing all of this stuff going on. He doesn't like seeing the pain and the suffering that's going on because of it. And there's nothing wrong with saying to God, what is going on? Help me to understand. I need a word from you. Because we see that kind of stuff going on. We may be looking around the world today and saying the same thing as Habakkuk. What's going on here? We see all this violence. These people are getting away with it. There's lawlessness. All this stuff is going on. Abortions and everything else. All this stuff is going on, and people are getting away with it. Or so it seems. And if we really care about people, even the people that are doing the wrong, we want to see them saved. We want to see them repent. We want to see them change. But we want to see justice done, but we don't see it. It's okay to talk to God about it, because he knows as human beings, how are we not going to, wonder what's going on when we see all this happening? But God reassures Habakkuk when he's saying, look around and observe. You're astounded. You're going to be astounded. Maybe we're shocked and astounded today. He says, for something is taking place in your days. God's saying, I'm doing something. You just don't see it. Maybe it's just little things here and there that God's doing, setting things up or preparing things that Habakkuk doesn't really see. But we also know that there's things always going on behind the scenes. There's a spiritual war going on behind the scenes that we never ever see. We can't see. And also we know we need to realize that God's timing is perfect. He's working behind the scenes, setting things up. And some of the evil stuff that's going on, it may be he's getting everything in place for his plan to come together and everything to happen, to do something at the right time. He says something's going on. In your day, it's going on right now. It's happening right now. He says that you will not believe when you hear about it. You see, that's the thing. We want to see certain things happen. We want to see certain things change. Maybe in our personal life, but even in the world. This is more in the context of the world and what's going on around him, not his life personally. But we want to see certain things change. And we have an idea of what we want to see change. We want to see this happen. We want to see this law enacted. We want to see this act, taking place to make certain things happen. But God's saying, what I'm getting ready to do, you won't even believe when you see it. You see, God thinks a lot bigger than we do. God's vision for the world is a lot bigger than ours. And so we have to trust him. We have to believe that God is working behind the scenes, that God is getting ready to put something in place. Maybe we're going to see it in our lifetime. Maybe we're not. But that's not the point. The point is we have to trust God. Look at verses like this in Habakkuk. Look at promises that God has made. Look at the book of Revelation, different things like that where we can see the end times and we can see what's going to happen in the end. God is working. Everything that's going on is setting it up for God's plan to come to perfection at his perfect time. You know, when we look at the life of Jesus, we see that things didn't go the way that the Jewish leaders and the Jewish people wanted, because they were looking for a king to take over to free them. But we see that God's plan was being worked all through Jesus' life. All this stuff that was going on, even though Jesus was telling them what was going to happen, they didn't believe it. We see in that instance, all of Jesus' life was working towards getting to the cross. And he died and was resurrected. That's why he was here. But people didn't see it. And today, maybe we don't see what God is doing. God goes on then and gives Habakkuk a little bit of an idea what's going on. He's raising up the Chaldeans, that even though they're a bitter, impetuous, they're a nasty group of people. He's saying he's raising them up. He's going to use them to free the Israelites, to deal with them. So God works, but he doesn't always work in the same ways that we want him to work, or that we would desire things to happen. So we have to learn, like I talked about yesterday, to be patient. We have to trust that God is really totally, completely in control, that he is working his plan to perfection, and that in the end, everything's going to come out and be the way that he wants it, the way it should be, the way it's going to be best for us in the end, and especially best for his kingdom and the people that he wants to save. If you're encouraged by this, or if you have questions or whatever, like, share, and subscribe, leave comment or whatever, and may God always bless you.